Okay, imagine this scenario. You're running a small business in India, right? Or maybe you're the HR person there, and you're just constantly juggling things. Your day feels like a total whirlwind. Your inbox is just overflowing, and you always feel like you're playing catch up, buried under paperwork, endless spreadsheets. Does that sound maybe a bit too familiar? Welcome to the People Stack. This is the show where we take your sources, your research, our own insights as well. We try to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, basically to help you get up to speed quickly and hopefully painlessly. Today, we're going to tackle a really critical issue. It's something facing loads of small and medium-sized businesses, SMEs, right across India. It's this hidden time drain of doing HR tasks manually. We'll explore how these routine, seemingly small activities just secretly eat up so much valuable time and, well, resources. So our mission today is to really shine a light on this silent productivity killer, reveal its true cost, and then really importantly, point you towards practical, affordable solutions that can genuinely change how HR works in smaller Indian companies. Get ready for, hopefully, some aha moments. So
Yeah.
let's set the scene a bit. We're really focusing on those smaller Indian businesses, typically, let's say, under 200 employees, and how handling HR the old-fashioned way, the manual way, often turns it into this unseen but very real drain on precious resources. It's often just wildly underestimated, isn't it, how much time these routine things actually take up?
Oh, it absolutely is. And the impact, it's much broader than just a few lost hours here and there. What's really fascinating, I think, is the ripple effect. When your HR folks are just perpetually stuck in paperwork, buried under spreadsheets, maybe constantly chasing approvals, they have practically zero bandwidth left for the strategic stuff. And that strategic work, things like, proactive talent development, really fostering employee engagement, building a great company culture that's actually fundamental for growth, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it raises a big question. What exactly are these tasks that are eating up so much time? And, how many hours are we really talking about?
Yeah, that broader point, HR stuck on admin instead of strategy, that really nails the core issue. Okay, so what are these specific routine tasks then? The ones really consuming hours every single month? Let's break it down.
Right, let's start with a really big one, payroll processing. In a typical Indian SME, the HR team can spend, honestly, a staggering 40 to 50 hours every single month just on payroll.
Wait, 40 to 50 hours a
Yes.
month?
Yeah. I mean, we're not just talking about calculating salaries and printing pay slips. It's quite complex. It involves meticulously juggling attendance records, making sure the Provident Fund, PF, and the ESI, employee state insurance calculations are absolutely spot on. Plus all the deductions, TDS, and then doing strict compliance checks.
Wow.
That's basically an entire work week, sometimes more, just gone. Lost to payroll admin alone. It's incredibly time intensive and honestly perfect for automation. Then, very closely linked to that is attendance and leave management, keeping track of who's in, who's out, managing leave manually. It just saps productivity like nothing else. Our research suggests HR teams waste, on average, maybe 8 to 10 hours a month just reconciling attendance data so payroll is accurate.
Okay.
But it doesn't stop with HR. Think about the managers, the team leads. They're also really burdened. They're spending something like 3 to 5 hours every week just on approving leave, sorting out disputes.
I can just picture it. A manager trying to sign off on leave while getting pinged on WhatsApp about someone's attendance update. It sounds like, well, administrative chaos, really.
Exactly.
And those hours, they really add up, don't they? Time that both managers and HR could be using for something more valuable.
Absolutely. So many smaller companies still rely on, just email threads or WhatsApp groups for leave requests,
Yeah.
which just creates this frustrating back and forth. It chews up managers' time like crazy. It really is a silent killer of productivity.
Okay, so beyond that constant grind of payroll and attendance, what about growth? When companies are expanding, bringing new people in, that must be another huge bottleneck, right? How much time is lost just getting new hires onboarded?
Oh, that's a massive point.
Yeah.
Huge. For companies without automation, drafting every offer letter, then onboarding each new hire. It's basically a new manual project every single time. HR has to carefully tailor offer clauses, format the documents, then chase and collect all the paperwork, you know, ID proofs, bank details, certificate.
All that joining documentation.
Exactly. And then ensure compliance with all the laws, often just using Word docs and endless emails. This whole process can take several hours for each new hire.
Each one.
Wow.
Yeah.
In fact, some sources say 31% of small businesses are still entirely manual, rely on paper forms for onboarding.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the kicker. Digital platforms can apparently save around 18 hours of HR work per new hire just by automating these steps.
18 hours per person.
Yeah, all that extra time spent per hire, it's a significant overhead, especially if you're trying to grow quickly. It really slows down your ability to scale efficiently. And then, let's not forget, performance appraisal cycles. These periodic reviews, they consume a really big chunk of both HR and manager time, especially during the review season.
Oh yeah, the appraisal season.
Right. HR has to chase people for self-evaluations,
Yeah.
set up meeting after meeting, compile all the forms, meticulously finalize ratings. And managers, too, spend ages writing evaluations, delivering feedback. There was some research by CEB, the advisory firm. They found something pretty staggering.
Hmm.
The average manager spends about 210 hours a year. That's close to 5 weeks just on annual appraisals.
5 weeks for a manager. Just on appraisals alone, that figure really drives it home how these cycles can just take over everything for weeks, especially without decent tools. So, okay, when we add all these different hours up, payroll, attendance, onboarding, appraisals, what does this actually mean for a small business? What's the real cost here beyond just the time logged on admin tasks?
Right, and this is crucial. All these hours poured into routine admin, they come with a very, very high opportunity cost. Just think about it for a second. Every minute your HR person spends updating a spreadsheet or manually calculating PS or chasing a leave approval, that's time not spent on strategic initiatives that actually grow the business.
Okay.
We're talking about things like maybe developing targeted training programs that boost team performance, or implementing engagement strategies that actually cut down on employee turnover. Your HR team could be, proactive architects of your company culture, not just administrators. That's the real value you're potentially missing out on. And it's probably no surprise either that companies using manual processes tend to have higher administrative costs overall. Plus, there's a much bigger risk of errors,
Yeah.
like manual payroll processing. It's not just slow, it's quite prone to mistakes. And these mistakes can lead to costly compliance issues, fines maybe, or even salary discrepancies that, create unhappy employees. And let's not forget the human cost.
Hmm.
HR people in small firms often wear multiple hats, right?
Definitely.
So this constant workload of repetitive admin tasks, it can absolutely lead to burnout, which doesn't just impact their own well-being, it drains the very energy and empathy your employees rely on from HR. As one report put it quite well, handling HR the old way takes away vital time that should be utilized for employee engagement and strategy planning.
So, if this level of inefficiency is really, as you say, unaffordable in today's competitive world, what's the way forward? Are these smaller teams just stuck? Or is there actually a viable path out for them?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The solution isn't just for the big corporations with huge budgets anymore. That's a common misconception. People think, oh, HR tech, that's only for the big guys. But actually, HR automation is now incredibly accessible and affordable,
Mm.
even for really lean organizations.
How so? What's changed?
Well, mostly because we're talking about cloud-based systems now. So that means you don't need any expensive servers or IT infrastructure, no huge upfront investment.
Hmm.
Basically, all you need is an internet connection.
Okay.
And lots of providers offer really flexible plans. Some even have free tiers for tiny teams.
Hmm.
Or they let you pay only for what you actually use, which is great for cash flow. It massively lowers the barrier to getting started. In fact, look at the market trend. 67% of Indian companies were apparently already using payroll automation software in 2024. And many of those aren't giant enterprises. They're agile SMEs figuring this out.
Right.
Let me give you a concrete example. There's an Indian platform called Offered, OFFRD. It's designed specifically with startups and SMBs in mind. It basically simplifies the very tasks we've been talking about, the ones that eat up so much time. So with Offered, you can generate professional offer letters really quickly using templates. It has guided onboarding workflows to collect documents, streamline getting new people started, and crucially, it automates payroll calculations, including PF, ESI, TDS, tax deducted at source, with compliance built right in.
Ah, compliance built in. That's key.
Exactly. And the really appealing part for small companies is its pay-per-use model. It means a business can dip its toes in, try out automation for specific things, maybe just payslip generation or attendance tracking first, without getting locked into expensive long-term contracts.
That sounds like a genuine game changer for those, totally overwhelmed HR teams or even business owners doing HR themselves. So for a business that's considering these kinds of tools, what are the really tangible benefits they can expect? How much time can they realistically get back?
Okay, so if we connect this all back to the bigger picture, the message is really clear. Indian SMEs just don't need to tolerate this massive time sink from manual HR anymore. The savings you can quantify are pretty impressive. Companies that brought in payroll software, for instance, they often report saving a massive 70 to 80% of the time they used to spend on it.
70 to 80%, that's huge.
It is. Imagine that. What used to take maybe a full day of manually checking attendance records can become an automated report, ready in minutes. That week-long payroll crunch. It could potentially be processed in just a single afternoon with a proper system in place. And this leads to a really important strategic shift. Once they're freed from all that tedious paperwork and admin burden, HR professionals and business owners, too, can actually redirect their efforts. They can focus on strategic growth areas, planning better training, actively improving the company culture, maybe refining the overall business strategy.
This is where the real value add comes from HR,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's where HR truly adds maximum value. And of course, these modern platforms bring other benefits too. They significantly cut down on errors, they help ensure compliance automatically, which saves potential costs from mistakes or missed government filings, which can actually be quite substantial fines.
It really does sound like an achievable win for so many businesses out there. So what's the final, maybe overarching takeaway for our listeners today? Something they can really think about.
I think the final takeaway is simply this, that administrative burden of HR, it can be drastically reduced, even with just basic automation. And this isn't just about saving time, though that's great. It's really about unlocking the true potential of your HR function. And by extension, your entire business. It lets small businesses finally reclaim those hours for activities that actually focus on growth and strategy.
Absolutely. So just to quickly sum up, those manual HR tasks, they're a significant, often hidden drain on small Indian businesses. But the really good news here is that accessible, affordable automation solutions are genuinely available now. They can help you reclaim that incredibly valuable time. So here's maybe a final thought for you to carry forward. What could your organization actually achieve if your HR team, or you, if you're the manager doing HR, were freed up from hours and hours of admin burden every single week? What new strategic things could you finally get around to? How much more engaged, more productive could your employees really be? The tools are out there. The opportunity really is yours to seize. Thank you so much for tuning into the People Stack. As always, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning. Until next time.